Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the airplane. Welcome to the airplane show for Saturday night. I'm hoping this works because last time I tried this, it didn't work out so well for me. So we're going to do a nice little flight tonight using the Baron B58 in Aerofly Simulator. And we're just going to do VOR only for navigation. VOR only. VOR and ADF. All right. We're not going to program any navigations in. We're just going to be doing ADF and VOR only. We're going to be flying the Baron B58. Now, I'm hoping this stream, I'm hoping that this share screen that I'm doing will work the whole time. Last time I tried it, it cut out mid-flight, and then I wound up recording it. If that's the case, I will then just record the video and upload it sometime later today or tomorrow. So what we're going to do is we're over here in Bellingham, Washington State. We're going to do a nice little circle around this lake here, and then we're going to land down yonder here at this Pain field. Pain. Bring the pain field. So now I may have to adjust some of the volumes here and there as I'm doing this. But, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. All right, so let's get rid of that. I was thinking about doing the King Air instead of this one, but the King Air is really difficult to fly without autopilot. I'm sorry, the autopilot's fine, but adjusting the heading and the course is really tough because, like, in between these seats here is where their center stack is, and that's where you have to adjust the heading and all that, and it's really difficult to see what heading and what course you're turning and tuning because you can't really see what you're doing. So we're just going to fly this one here. So let's kick on this battery right over here. And we got to turn on all this stuffs. So let's turn on this. Let's turn on this. All right, let's turn on avionics. There we go. Now the stuff's lighting up. All right, let's turn on you. Let's turn on you. All right. So the first thing we got to do is let's program in our first waypoint, our first VOR. So we need to fly on a course of 344. So let's program 344 in. Now, if you look on top of the HUD over on, well, I can't really bring the cursor up, but like up this area, well, I guess I can bring the cursor, this area, that shows you your heading. So let's put in 344. Yeah, let's turn this on too. That's our DME instrument. We have one there, and then we have one down here too that I didn't turn on yet. I guess we should turn it on. Okay. So the first ADF we're going to program in. So there's going to be 2 ADFs and a bunch of VOR. Well, not a bunch of VORs, but quite a few. All right, let's see here. So the first one is 378. So let's plug that bitch in. We got 78. Oh, I guess we can't do 78 there. All right, so 8. All right, 3. There we go, 378. And where's the transfer button? And this one? Nope. That one? Nope. That one. All right, we got it. All right, the first VOR ski. So this side here is communications. This side is navs. The arrow flips flops. All right, so the first one we got is 113. So the inner ring does after the decimal. The outer ring does before the decimal. All right, so we got 113 first. Then on VOR2, let's program in the YYJ VOR station. That's 11370. So let's put in 70. I like to get these kind of set. So we got 11370, 113 even, and then after 113 even, then we have 284 for the DME after that. Let's program our DME instrument for 113. That'll tell us how many miles we are. All right, so then we got 11720. All right, so we got 11720. We're going to program that in nav2, and then we're going to program the ILS here, which is 10930. I think that'll do it for all the waypoints. We got 113, that's checked. We got 378 down there. We got 11370, then 284, then 117.2, and then we fly on a course of 96 degrees. Okay. Oh, and by the way I have this streaming tonight, if somebody puts anything in the chat, I'm not going to be able to see it until afterwards. The way I have OBS capturing this, it's on my display, so I may flip-flop periodically to go back and forth and just double check volume, but other than that, I can't really monitor the chat or say hi. But if anybody does wind up watching this while I'm making the video and you do put something in the chat, I certainly do appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Before you leave, make sure you click the like, hit the comment, hit the comments, hit the like, and then also subscribe to this video. All right, so we need runway 340, and we are flying on a course of 340. So let's program in 340 on here. All right, let's program 340 here, and then match these up. Okay, 340, and then we got 344. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's start this bitch up. Let me put some lights on in here. All right, lights. I never really know if those lights work, to be honest. Like, it never really seems to do anything. All right, we're going to put 340 here. And then you have this flag shows to or from. From is usually flying away from a VOR because radials radiate away. So if you're flying a course, that's usually flying to the VOR. And then for YYJ, which is the next VOR station after that, it's a heading of 205. So let's program in 205. All right, so that's 210. That's 205. Okay. All right, so we got that. Let's put on some beacon lights. Let's that's done, that's done, that's done. All right, let's put on the fuel boost for now. Let's move our mixtures up. Let's add a little bit of throttle. And let's try to crank these bad boys up. This might not be how you start it in real life, but in Aerofly, it does the trick. Alright, pi dot heat on. Yep, prop sync. Alright, nav, taxi. Flaps down, and let's open up our cowl flaps so we can vent as we're going up. Now I want to do just a quick little test with the volume real quick, so just bear with me a second, okay? Because I want to make sure that I can hear over top of the. If not, I'm gonna have to adjust the volume, so bear with me a second. I'm monitoring it, and it's about 5 or 10 seconds behind what I'm actually saying, so. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move that down just a little bit. Let's move that down a little bit, and me up a little bit. Me up a little bit more. And we'll move this down a little bit. Okay. All right, we should be good now. All right. So, which way is the dang runway? Where's the runway at? I guess it's over here. Give me a second. Let me find out where the runway is. I've never been here before. Oh, yeah, okay. So straight ahead. All right, that's easy enough. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Oops, that's landing gear. My bad. We won't do that. Down here is the parking brake, I believe. Yep, parking brake. All right, and let's go ahead and see if we can do this flight. Now, I have everything written down on a notepad in front of me tonight. You know, all the mileages and everything. So, if you're wondering how I'm keeping track of, uh, I built it on Navigraph. I built it on the Aerofly main page with the navigation, where you can like build it from the main screen. And I have the roundabout mileage for in between each station, and the roundabout heading and course or radial that we need to fly. So that's kind of how I'm going to be tracking this. And then when we get to our last, so we're going to hit the HUH VOR first, then the AP ADF station, then YYJ VOR station, then then FHR ADF station, then CVV VOR station, and then we're going to fly from CVV. That's the beginning of our approach. It's an ILS for, I forget the runway that we're going, 16, I think it is. But anyways, you know, we're going to fly from CVV. We're going to fly on a course of 96 degrees for about 19 miles. We need to be around 3,000 feet at the end of that 19 miles. and then we should make our turn on a 163 heading and pick up the IPAE VOR. It's got a landing elevation of 608 feet and a DH of 200 feet. A decision height. Decision height is based off of the barometric pressure, which we're not going to touch tonight because Aerofly doesn't adjust the atmosphere for these kind of things. It's not like it is in X-Plane or Microsoft Simulator. But this is what I actually like flying this plane a lot. It's a cool little plane to fly, and I like how this one doesn't have like any high-tech, glass cockpit screens or anything. It's just old school. And I've played at nighttime and with this plane, and I've tried using these switches down here, and I never noticed a difference with the light. So I don't know if they work or not, but it was something else for me to click on, so I did it. Now, before we take off, I am in a program in the autopilot. We are going to use autopilot, by the way. So I'm going to program in our altitude. I'm going to get up to about, I guess I'll go up to about 8,000 feet, and then we'll go from there. If I get up there quick enough, I might go ahead and go up to 12,000 feet. And then we're going to program in, and we're going to use that to pick up our course. So when you have autopilot, it makes things quite a bit easier because we can just program in a 340 heading to the first VOR, and our navigation should capture it when it's close enough. I think you need to be within 50. I think you need to be within 50 miles of it for the autopilot to really start catching. At least that's how it is in the 737 in this simulator. I believe it's about 50 miles. Sorry. Now, I don't know with this autopilot in here. I don't know if you need to program in the course you're flying to the VOR, if you need to program that, or if you need to program in the radial that is coming from the VOR. So I have both written down. So like we're going to fly on a 340 heading. The opposite of that, the radial for that 340 heading is the 160 radial. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna need to do yet. If I hit the autopilot and the plane starts to turn around, then I just need to do the direct opposite of what I programmed in. So if we hit autopilot and we're flying at 340, and the plane starts to do a U-turn, then we programmed it wrong, and we need to program in 160. So I don't know how that's gonna happen yet, but we'll figure it out. What's the worst that can happen? We just make a big circle in the sky. But yeah, I like making these little videos, these VOR videos. I like just getting right in a plane sometimes and just taking off. And I do think that Aerofly did a pretty good job with the scenery in this northwest part of, and really a lot of Washington State. I think they did a really good job, putting all that together, especially for mobile devices. It's pretty good. All right, let's skirt. Let's skirt that. Nope, stay skirted. Let me put the parking brakes on. Stay skirted, bitch. Skirt. We need to do a couple things first. All right, put on some strobes. Put on some landings. Let's put the heater on. I guess we'll put the blower on too. Why not? All right, and let's go over to our navigation panel. And first thing we're going to do is set up the altitude. So, sorry, have to hit the autopilot button first to turn it on. The autopilot. Let's do 8,000 feet. And we're going to set up a VS of, let's say, 800 feet right now. All right, and then we are gonna do nav mode. Make sure the yaw dampener's on. All right, and now we are gonna see. I don't know why it has a flight director button. There's really no flight director in this plane, but anyways. All right, let's so flight director and autopilot both do the same thing. Oh, never mind. It doesn't turn on the autopilot. It just arms it. All right, so if you want to program your shit, you can just do this. Push the flight director button. If you want to program the autopilot, then you can, then just hit that button, turn on the autopilot. All right, let's get out of here. Say it with me. Let's get going and let's get rolling. Yeah, son. Yeah, son. My cute little plane. My cute little Baron B58. You so cute. I don't know what the takeoff is on this. I guess maybe 80 knots, maybe 100 knots. I would assume landing's probably around 110, 105 knots, but look at you, cute little plane. Let's see if I can take off this way and not crash. All right, let's. Whoa, 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 whoa! We are almost crashing. We are almost crashing already. Tail strike, bouncing, bouncing. Okay, so maybe taking off like that in this plane is not such a good idea, guys. It looks really cool, but let's not do that again. Because we almost killed everybody. All right, let's put our landing gear up. All right, let's pick up this navigation. So we're still, when we get up to about 1,500 feet or so, we will. All right, we can put the spoilers, I mean the flaps up. All right, now if you look at the CDI, that yellow line is starting to come in a bit. That means that we are very close to picking up the correct course to fly to the right radial. So let's start making a turn. All right, now I'm going to push the autopilot button. Let's go over here and push nav and push VS. And let's go, we'll do 1,000 right now. We'll see how 1,000 does. All right, so far so good. Now, when we are flying to the ADF stations, navigation is not going to work. So we can use heading mode at that point. So we are 5.6 miles from the first VOR station. You can see down here, it says that's how far away we are. It also should say it over here, right? So we have to fly on a 246 heading to the ADF. So when we're about a mile out of the VOR, we are going to turn on a heading of 246. So we're programming that, and I'm looking at the pink numbers up top. That says 246. Yep. All right, we're still climbing nicely. We can actually probably climb a little quicker. This plane is not the Cessna. It can handle a bit more. Cessna really tops out around 800 feet. 800 feet per minute. It seems like even if you lean the fuel, even in Microsoft, if you lean the fuel, you know, and all that, it still really only gets, you know, maybe 700 or 800 feet per second. Sorry, 700 or 800 feet per minute. Sorry, it's been a long day. I haven't eaten yet. I had to work today. Work sucked. And, you know, now I'm doing this, which I love doing this. Very happy doing this. I've been looking forward to doing this flight all day. All right, let's turn off the landing lights and the taxi lights because, you know, that matters. Oh, I hear some stuttering in the sound, man. I hope this... Go, please. Stay with me, screen mirroring. Don't conk out on me. Be good little be good little technology. All right, so I just hit the heading button. So now we're going to fly on heading in 246, and actually for me to do nav for the next one, I'm going to need to program in 11370. So let's program in 11370. All right, and we need to fly it on a heading of 246. So that yellow one, that yellow one here, that's our ADF. So we're doing okay with that. And then from there, we need to fly on a course of 205. So let's program in 205. That's about 210, and that's about 205 right here. That's about 205. Now I'm going to leave the VOR programmed in, the 113, the first one we went to, because we need to fly 28 nautical miles to the next waypoint, which is AP, which is that ADF station. So I'm going to keep an eye on the DME equipment. There's one here. There's one here. We're going to keep an eye on that. So far, so good. And I think we can actually go up. Let's go up to 12,000 feet. What? The VS button. Yeah. And the ADF, we're on a 240 heading, so we need to adjust this a little bit. So if we're flying, let's try adjusting this like 10. And see if that works. Let's go 10 degrees more and see if that works to bring this yellow needle into 246. I get a little confused, to be honest, sometimes with those ADFs, those needles, trying to get the needle to line up properly. Sometimes I get a little confused with that. All right, so this one's 205. You know, we might not even use nav2, to be honest. So we might just use this OBS1 the whole night. Yeah, see, it looks like we're going farther away from 240. All right, so let's make an adjustment. Let's now go, instead of 256, let's put in 236. Let's go 10 degrees the other way. And now let's see if that brings that ADF into the 246 area. That's probably what's going to happen. But like I said, I'm not a real pilot. I just do it on the internets. But yeah, man, I like flying up here. It took me probably a good 3 or 4 days to figure out how I wanted to do this flight. What part of the map system in Aerofly I wanted to use. What waypoints. I wanted to do a route that was somewhere like 50 to 100 miles. I didn't want to make it too long because this plane is super slow. I didn't want to make it too short either because I wanted to have a good amount of stations programmed. And this little route here seemed to have enough in a small area where I could kind of make like almost like a crescent shape flight. Have 3 or 4 VORs, a couple of ADFs and ILS. All right. Now I do so if we're gonna descend from 12,000 feet to 3,000 feet, what's our to 2,000? So we need to descend 10,000 feet total. So 10, 20, 30. So we'll need about 30 miles of. We'll need about 40 miles to descend, and it is 19 miles there. So when we get to CVV, I'm sorry, when we get to FHR, that's where we're going to start our descent. Because from FHR to CVV, it's 20 nautical miles. And then from CVV to the ILS, to the point where we need to make our final turn to the runway, that's another 19 miles. So that's about 40 miles. So that should be good for us. All right, let's check on the ADF needle. Nope. Still nothing. Let's go a little bit further. Like I said, I get very confused by these VORs. I understand very well. For some reason, when it comes to ADF, these ADF needles in these planes, I really like don't. I really have a hard time grasping the concept of like which way is what. You know what I'm saying? Son of a bitch.